But it was later on last night that the news came through that Ryan Giggs has resigned as Wales manager, having originally stepped aside temporarily back in November 2020 after being arrested on suspicion of actual bodily harm and assault. He faces a domestic violence trial in Manchester scheduled to begin on August the 8th. Where he's accused of controlling and coercive behaviour. Okay. He's also accused of assaulting his former girlfriend, Kate Greville, and of the common assault of her younger sister, Emma Greville. That was on November the 1st in 2020. Ryan Giggs, of course, has denied the allegations. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. So anyway, Ryan Giggs has resigned, and of course, what many were predicting in the game, now all roads lead to the World Cup under Rob Page, because Rob Page has led Wales to their first World Cup in over half a century in Giggs's absence. Do you think, Simon, that the Welsh football team needed this kind of certainty, if you like, as they prepare now in earnest for Qatar?
Well, you could say yes and you could say no, and the reasons why you could say both is because it doesn't seem to have affected them in their performance of qualifying for a World Cup. So whilst it's a little bit untidy and unseemly and the sub judice process has to go through and Ryan Giggs has to face his accusers and do what he has to do through the legal system, Robert Page, albeit I suspect, has had some of the intellectual capital from Ryan Giggs in the background, has been leading this team and working with this group of players and has achieved a level of success that no Welsh manager has achieved since 1958. So if anyone's going to be in a position where they are entitled to have a clear, unassailed position without the spectre of someone with a big name in the background that may come back, may not come back, I think it's probably right. Ryan Giggs' situation is compounded by the backlog of courts during COVID, so he probably hasn't had an opportunity to get this case to trial earlier than this, which I don't know why, because we've seen people like, Colin Rooney in court and so on and so forth. But anyway, I think it's the right thing. I think it's also the right thing that the Welsh FA look at Robert Page as a serious candidate for the job, but do it post the World Cup, which is what England should have done with Gareth Southgate. So I think it's absolutely appropriate that Ryan Giggs resigns, takes the problem away from the Welsh FA, gives the respect to the guy that's run the team. It's almost self-preservational as well, because if he comes back, Giggs, takes over the Welsh team and they underachieve under his management against Robert Page, he'll find himself in an invidious position of being judged by a set of standards that Robert Page has laid down, which is getting the Welsh team to qualify for a World Cup. So it's absolutely right. So Robert Page has earned the right to be not standing in for Ryan Giggs. I know there'll still be caretaker manager titles and whatever else, but surely he has earned the right to be in a situation where he isn't Ryan Giggs' understudy.
Well, that's right. And certainly in terms of the players within the Welsh squad, they give Rob Page the full backing that you would hope he would get. Certainly Gareth Bale quite recently spoke in glowing terms of Page.
I think he is the long-term manager. I don't think there's any question in the changing room from the fans. He's done an incredible job coming in difficult circumstances and done an incredible job where everyone with him has a great relationship. We have that kind of good mixture of we can have a bit of fun, but when we need to work, we work hard, we do it correctly. And it's a great balance. He's been great for us. I think even his backroom staff with Alan Nill and Kit Simons and all the other staff have been incredible. And I guess that's why you achieve big things when your team's happy and your manager's doing well.
So that was Gareth Bale speaking about Page. Page's contract, as you rightly say, Simon, has been extended until the end of the World Cup, but he hasn't been officially confirmed as the manager.
Yeah.
You would say, leave that alone. Just leave it alone. Just let Page and the Welsh go to Qatar and get on with the job in hand.
It's an unfair comparison to compare his situation to Gareth Southgate's, because Gareth Southgate has a embarrassment of riches, and the Welsh team have a limited amount of players they can recruit from. So he's already done the job that actually could be worthy of being given the full-time appointment. Because if anybody had said, what do you perceive as success for the Welsh team in this next campaign, qualifying for the World Cup would have been at the top of the list. Would you give the guy that's in situ a longer contract or a contract full stop? Most of the Welsh FA would have said yes. If you look back over the period of time, obviously Gary Speed started the process, and tragically what happened with Gary, he didn't get to conclude it. Chris Coleman took them to a certain level. So they've had success and building blocks, and this guy has taken them to a World Cup qualifying campaign, which they may do well in, because they've got the Iranians and they've got the USA in that group, I believe. So there's no reason why they can't come out of that group. So I think he's earned the right to be in a situation where, in this instance, I go against my thinking of Southgate, because Wales, and this is not me peeing on the Welsh parade, the Welsh qualifying for a World Cup tournament is actually bigger than England doing it. England's job is to win this World Cup. Wales's job is to be very competitive in it, and he's already got them to the World Cup in Qatar. So I think he's probably earned the right to be given the full-time job, and I think it might be actually a nice touch from the Welsh FA, or I don't know what else they'd be thinking, to say, actually, as a rubber stamping this, we're going to give you the job full-time before you go into this tournament, because you've got us there. That's the building block we wanted.
Fair enough.
I don't really care, without being overly contemptuous of the players, of their perspective, because the moment you start hearing players loving coaches is because the coach has given them what they want.
Yeah.
And when they don't give them what they want, then they suddenly become unpopular with the players.
Yeah.
But I think Robert Page, and the way that he spoke, specifically after the qualifying games and the knockout games, in terms of the playoffs, I think he came across very well. I think he came across very well in previous
he's
tournaments.
been impressive.
I think he's done well.
Yeah.
I think he's earned the right. He may not be a popular name in terms of, they've had John Toshak, they've had Gary Speed, they've had Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
But with respect, and Chris Coleman, but with respect, he's done the job.
He has indeed. So we know that they're going to Qatar. It's Group B, and Wales will face the United States, Iran and England under Rob Page.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.